All right, today let's talk about one of the easiest ways to get free money. And there's no scams here. This is just a very simple idea of using credit cards. And a lot of times they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to use credit cards. They're so scary. I don't want to have these high interest rates. So I'm just going to pay cash or use a debit card. Those can be big mistakes and they can actually cost you a lot of money in the long term when you think about it. So today we'll talk about why we like credit cards. And also at the end, we will give you our top 4 favorite credit cards that we actually personally use here. So with that, let's talk about why we like credit cards and kind of I think some of the myths that people may start missing when they actually look at using those credit cards there.
Yeah, so as far as having a credit card, a lot of people look at the interest rate, they see that that's high, they think they're going to be paying that. And really, if you're someone who is responsible and doesn't overspend, treats a credit card like a debit card, there's a lot of value that you can receive from them. So, even though the interest rate on it might be 15, 20, 30%, as long as you're paying your statement balance every single month, you're not going to be paying any interest at all, but you get the rewards that come along with that credit card, mileage, cashback, things like that. And also, using a credit card is a lot more safe and secure than using a bank account, because if your identity does get stolen or that credit card gets stolen, the credit card company is liable for that charge, not yourself, and you're not leaving your bank account exposed.
And the big thing too we talk about with those credit cards, you do have to be absolutely careful when you're using these because the interest rates can be very high. And a lot of times I hear people when they're looking at getting their first credit card, they're saying, well, I'm going to look at the interest rate and that's how I'm going to pick my credit card. I think that's the silliest thing you can do because yeah, you might get an interest rate, let's say 15%, and maybe another one has 25%, but that shouldn't be the determining factor. You shouldn't be wanting to pay a 15% interest rate. To be honest, if my interest rate was 40, 50% on the credit card, I still get that one as long as I have good rewards because I
Mhm.
don't plan on paying that interest when I'm using that credit card. As you said, very important, you want to treat it like a debit card. So what I do is I make sure anytime I have my spending kind of set up on the month is I'll look at all my credit card balances and make sure it doesn't exceed the cash I have in the bank. That way I just have my credit cards on auto pay. I don't have to worry about incurring penalties, incurring interest, because that's what can really cost you when you have those credit cards there.
Yeah, so when you're taking a look at which credit card to choose, again, as Chase said, doesn't really matter what the interest rate is because the goal should never be to carry a balance on a credit card. So it shouldn't really be a consideration. What you really want to look at is what types of fees come along with the card. Some of them have annual fees, some of them do not. And then also, what type of rewards do they get based on your spending habits? So take a look at your spending habits, how much you spend in various areas, and then try and find a credit card that matches those spending so that you can get the most rewards possible.
Yeah, and talking about rewards, I mean, one of the things that I always look at is I'm a big cashback guy. I mean, that's the type of reward I like to lean towards. A lot of people like the travel cards. Not for me. I don't do a ton of traveling. Maybe it makes sense down the road, but I like the idea of cash back because there's so much more flexibility. If I want to spend that cash back on travel, I can. If I want to spend on something else, I can. If I want to take that money and invest it, I can do that too. So I like the flexibility of the cash back credit cards at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's really a personal preference. I personally like cashback credit cards as well. I know that there are mileage cards out there where you can, move points around and, get flights or get hotels cheaper in certain areas. But if you're not doing a lot of traveling, that's not going to help you. And it seems like the rewards that you accrue on mileage credit cards aren't quite as large as, the rewards that you get from cashback cards. So, there might be better perks of what you can use those points for, but you're not able to accrue points as quickly with mileage cards. And again, mileage cards tend to have a lot higher fees associated with them. So if you're someone who, appreciates the benefits and the perks of those mileage cards, by all means, understand what you're getting into. If you want something that's a little bit more simple and a little bit more comprehensive, cashback card is definitely a good way to go.
Cool. Well, with that, let's get into our top 4 favorite credit cards that we actually use here. And again, none of these actually have annual fees or anything on that, so they're very simple to use, very simple to understand. All cashback credit cards. First one we'll talk about is the Citi Double Cash credit card. That one, it's great. It's essentially a 2% cashback credit card, but you get 1% when you actually pay for goods, services, and then you get 1% after you actually pay the credit card. So as I said, essentially 2% cash back on all purchases there.
Yep, looks like this doesn't have my credit card number on there, just my name. So, but yeah, just 2% cash back. As far as the cash back on all of these, the IRS deems cash back as a discount, so it's not considered income, therefore it's not taxable. So it's just a, tax-free, free money at the end of the day.
Free money. Who doesn't love free money? Next one we wanted to talk about too was the Amazon Reward Visa. I mean, this one's great for people that have Prime memberships. Even if you don't have a Prime membership, you still get the benefits if you shop on Amazon. But for those Prime members, if you don't have this credit card, I think you're making a huge mistake because it's 5% cash back on all Amazon purchases. That's just a very nice, I think, benefit. And if you're already shopping on Amazon, might as well get the benefit there.
Yeah, my fiance uses that card too much, but again, at least we're getting 5% cash back.
The next one I'll have you talk a little bit more about here, Harrison, but it's actually a US bank credit card. Uses one a ton for restaurants, dining out, and so forth.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like. It's red. It's called the US Bank Altitude Go card. I mainly use it for restaurants, bars, food delivery services, things like that. It's no annual fee and 4% cash back on all restaurants, dining, delivery type of expenses. So 4% cash back there. You also get 2% cash back on grocery delivery and streaming services, and then just 1% on everything else. And then in addition to that, every year you get a $15 credit toward a streaming service like Netflix or Hulu or Spotify or any of those. So you automatically get $15 essentially in cash back off the top for that, plus 4% on dining. So I don't really use it too much for, the grocery stuff because I've got the City Double Cash, that's 2% on everything. But for dining, it's a great card. It's the best card that I can find for that as far as, no annual fee with 4% cash back. That's pretty high.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a great credit card. I know we both use that. So when we go out to eat, a lot of times, actually, our other friends have it too. So we'll all put down the Altitude Go cards.
Yeah, I've got dinner tonight. All right, I want those points.
Well, the last one we'll talk about here is for Costco members. I believe it's called the Costco Anywhere Visa, is I think what they call it. But this is great. Again, if you have a Costco membership, there's no additional fee for the credit card. You just have to, again, have a Costco membership there.
Yeah, and as far as the rewards go, you get 3% cash back on all gas stations, not just Costco gas. Any type of gas station you go to, you're going to get 3% cash back on that. 3% cash back on dining, which you have the other Altitude card, you would use that one instead, but still 3% cash back on dining, and then 3% cash back on travel. So there's actually, no, excuse me, it's 5% cash back on gas, 3%, 4%. I had another card that was 5, but that one got discontinued. So you're right, Chase, 4% cash back on gas, 3% on dining and travel, 2% cash back on Costco. So if you go to Costco or buy Costco online, 2% cash back on that, and then 1% everywhere else.
Yeah, and it's great too because Costco travel is already so great for kind of bundling different packages together. So I mean, you get the nice benefit there of utilizing Costco travel and then also getting the rewards for using your credit card there. I mean, those are definitely my top 4 favorite credit cards that I keep in my wallet that I kind of have. I'm going to say my strategy when I'm looking at my spending to make sure I'm maximizing that cash back. You don't have to be as, I'm going to say anal about spending the way I do, but making sure I have a good credit card strategy. Once you get used to it, it's pretty seamless to maximize your cash back there.
Yeah, I carry 3 cards on me, the Citibank, the Costco, and then the Altitude card. And between those, pretty much for everything I'm going to be spending, I'm getting rewards back on it. And then the other benefit that we didn't talk about is this helps your credit. So, having a credit card, paying off the balances, in many cases, getting more credit cards and paying off those balances as well is going to establish a credit history and improve your credit score, which, is going to be helpful when you're going to buy a house, getting a mortgage, especially now with some new adjustments that just went into place for mortgage rates. People with, higher credit scores are getting more of a benefit from that. So, there's a whole lot of benefits with credit cards. I know sometimes there's a negative connotation with them, but as long as you spend the money you have, treat it like a debit card, you get all of the other benefits essentially at no cost.
Yeah, exactly. So hope that helps. Next time you hear somebody say, "Oh, don't get a credit card," maybe think twice. Credit cards can be a great tool, again, if used properly.